Good morning. Today we are going to look into Chapter 4, the Educational Theorist Theories, aka the Founding Fathers of Education. And I come to you today channeling my inner Founding Father. So I'm not Miss Mick today. Today I am one of the old wise guys. That's what I call them. It's not their fault that back in that time when public education was first started, that it was mostly white males that were able to study and do this research. But these are the founding fathers. They lay the foundation from all of the other theories in education. So let's take a look at what the founding fathers have laid down for us. First, we have to discuss brain development. Now, I first introduced this to you when we complete child abuse recognition and prevention. I had you watch a video about Dr. Bruce Perry and the new work on trauma and the effects that it has on the infant brain. If you have Netflix, there's a very interesting series called Babies. It might be a little bit boring for you to watch an entire episode, but maybe watch 15 minutes at a time of each episode, and it has some very interesting things. I like to kind of learn about each baby, and you get to follow those babies. I'm only like 2 episodes in, but that's my suggestion. Don't try to watch an entire episode. Try to just watch like 15 minutes at a time if you have Netflix and can see the baby series. And if you're interested in infants and toddlers. So again, Dr. Bruce Perry was one of the people that did the video, is one of the main doctors behind that we've already watched, and that ties into this important brain development. So with brain development, you have vision, birth to 6 months, you have motor development, which it begins prenatally, so in the mother's womb, up until 8 years of age. Then you have emotional control. Children begin to learn this from birth to 3 years. And then vocabulary and speech is learned from birth to 3 years. And then math and logic begins to develop in the brain from ages of 1 to 4. So as they move and are able to put items together. So these are the areas in brain development. Over here from our textbook, there's windows of opportunity. It's a very important definition. So windows of opportunity is appropriate stimulation is needed at certain times in childhood so that the brain synapses form efficiently. So if you remember from our Dr. Bruce Perry trauma video, it showed the mom shared, some of her concerns, like when her child cries and is upset, they need to know that someone is there and that will love them and take care of them and let them know that it's going to be okay. Change their diaper, see if they need fed. The synapses in some of the brain imaging showed the wiring of the brain. I will try to show you some images from Time magazine, or you can look them up in the 90s, but very similar to the video that we've already watched. Babies are born with an underdeveloped brain weighing about 1 pound, but their brain contains billions of specialized nerve cells called neurons. Each time a teacher or parent, so those would be the adults in their lives, provides stimulation, a synapsis connects the neurons together. So it's important to read to young children. Leading to active brain images, this change is called plasticity. Okay, so I've tried to highlight some of the important words, and I'm going to also try to develop a little note page for you to kind of write some thoughts down. That you can open up to go with this as well. Okay, so let's look at our first founding father. This is Erickson. He is a German American sociologist and psychoanalyst. From our textbook, his Psychosocial Theory, children need to form a healthy personality, which is emphasized by social and emotional aspects in response to their environment. 8 stages, but ECE focuses is on 1 through 4 of the 8 stages, because that's going to be our birth to age 8. Okay, so 1, we have trust versus mistrust. Birth to 18 months old is a trust versus mistrust. So this is just like with the Dr. Bruce Perry video that we've watched. Babies need to trust the environment that they're born into, okay? They need to know that when their diaper needs changed, it's going to get changed. They are completely dependent on the adults in their life. They need to know that if they're hungry, they're going to get fed. So the only way they can gain trust in their environment is if they have adults that are doing those things. So this would be the primary caregivers, the nanny, the child care teacher, the parents, right? They need to have that network. The second is autonomy versus shame and doubt. This occurs when children are 18 months through 3 years of age. If you've been around, these are our toddlers, right? Toddlers, get into things, right? They're just naturally curious. So they need to know that they're not going to be shamed or in trouble for their new curiosity. They're moving, they're trying to figure things out. They need an environment that is safe. So we have to set up an environment where we move things, we block things that are not safe. So we're not telling them no. We're not overly telling them stop that. Not that we do have to say that sometimes, but we want to make sure that they have an autonomy environment where it's set up for them to play and explore and figure out their new body movements and how they can be more independent. So we need to set that environment up for them. 3 is initiative versus guilt. This is our 3 to 5 year olds. Okay, so they're going to be more wanting to explore, more independence, and we need to continue that in the learning environment. We don't want them to feel shame and doubtful. We don't want them to feel guilty that they have, made a bad choice all the time. So we have to work with them so that they understand the expectations, and we set up an environment where we're telling them things like, I really liked this choice. I liked how you did this. So we want them to build autonomy and take initiative and, understand their expectations. 4th is industry versus inferiority. This occurs between ages 6 to 12. So with industry, what Erickson is talking about is in the school age years, we are introducing them to being productive citizens in society. So how do we want them to be in our industry? So we don't want them to feel inferior, that they can't find their place in our community. So again, we still want to set up the environment so they're not getting into trouble, that they have a safe place to try to figure out who they are. They will make mistakes, right? And then we have a system that is helping them learn through those mistakes in a nurturing way. Okay, so in high school, he has other ones. We're not going to discuss those for the purposes of our class. Children have social emotional delays when one stage is not achieved positively by that age suggested. So that is what Erickson focused his studies on, that social emotional development can be delayed if they're not supported with we're not creating a supportive environment that builds, that they know they can trust us, they have autonomy, they can take initiative, and they understand their place in industry. So we're going to take a break and pause here, and we'll learn about some of the other fathers next time.